Today is May 29th, 2023, Memorial Day. I just got into office after a late night attempt at studying. Now, professionals talk about having multiple difficulties in uh, making a trade. And one of the things that seasoned professional day traders talk about is how risk management is so important. They talk about how a novice day trader puts everything into a single trade, and ultimately it'll work out for a few days, and then on a single trade, it disintegrates. And that is a repeated cycle. And ultimately, a repeat of those two heavy losses will cause a person to be blown out of the blown. That means that risk management is very important. Now, the second part is risk management is an envelope of understanding this other part, which is the percentage. As a day trader, when the market is moving in a locked in mindset that I have, then the luck will keep moving forward, causing me to have a winning ratio that is based on the market moving in the direction of my thinking. So instead of me moving in step with the market, it's the market that's moving in step with my thinking. Now that disrupts the proper manner in which I trade. Despite the fact that occurs, the winning ratio for a novice day trader is lower than professional day traders. Or it could be higher. It could be higher and still be a loser because of a couple of factors. One of them is selling too soon and holding on to a loser for a long time, which essentially erases. There are professionals who are making consistent money because of their R and R to R ratio is so high. Now, in order for me to fix what I'm seeing right now, the sawtooth effect, I have to make an adjustment in my trade. If I do not make this adjustment in my trade, then there is no hope. I have to fix this sawtooth. I have to fix this sawtooth fluctuation in my P&L. If I can fix that, then I can move forward to enhancing what I need to do. Now, since I'm essentially, it's like Newton. It's like Isaac Newton. He discovered gravity when an apple fell on his head. And he calculated that gravity is something like, I forget what the number is, I have to do some research on it. I think something like so if I were to look at that, 6.674 some number. That's what his gravitational constant is. Okay, so he discovered that. It's a gravitational constant. He discovered this. In order for him to discover that, he had to prepare himself to receive that information. He had to place himself in a situation where he receives that information. Without him placing that information, without him being in the capability of receiving the information, it will never gain traction. I hope I'm at that stage where I am able to receive the information and the importance of the statistical value for winning ratios and what it can turn. It's understanding in terms that I understand. If somebody were to explain that to me, which many people have tried, professionals have tried. I mean, it's difficult to understand what they're talking about because they're not talking my language, because they're already a professional. They know what's going on. So how do I talk to myself so that I understand the importance of it? Some professionals talk about, hey, what do you think is going to happen when you don't put stop loss? Okay, so they talk about that. They say these things, but it's incredibly difficult to understand why that happens, because I don't own it. They own it. So I have to own that number. And so how do I own that number? I've so far have experienced the sawtooth effect. The saw, it just cuts. The saw essentially is like, I have to see one of these days I'm going to have to like sell T-shirts with these day trading words, which are so prominently and so important. And one of the words is saw. I mean, it's a sawtooth. Essentially, it's a sawtooth effect that causes novice day traders to lose everything. Now I need to make this subtle atomic habit change, which will mitigate further losses, so that it gives me a chance to turn the tide. So this is a talk that even if I had talked with myself, I was not ready to receive it. And I hope today's the day that I receive this information. Such as, if I just graduated with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, and then somebody graduated with a PhD in electrical engineering, and this PhD is attempting to explain something in terms that he understands, at a level that he understands, then the person who has a bachelor's degree, the brain will attempt to burst because it took that PhD approximately 4 years to achieve that knowledge. And cramming that 4 years of knowledge into that single 1-minute conversation would be either lost in space or lost in space. Now, so this is imperative. Trading is, and I've heard of this from professional day traders. They talk about this, and one of the things that they talk about is the toil and the flipping of the switch, the relay switch, the breaker box. When a heavy load is applied, it triggers a breaker to disengage that particular load to protect the system. That happens once in a while when I'm washing dishes, because the washing dishes, there's a heater in there that is a heavy load. It requires a heavy amount of current, electrical current, to heat up the heating coil, to constantly, and then there are motors in there that causes the water to be spun around. There's a water jet inside. Now that's a heavy load for single equipment. Heating something using electrical coil, cooking something, requires gas because it's instant and it's an external combustion engine. That's essentially what a gas burner is. And that is required in order to uh, equate to a heavy electrical load on a system. And so that's why, anyway, that's why the West Side Drive-In has gas burners and gas fryers uh, and gas ovens in order to reduce the amount of load on the electrical system. And it's instant. So now getting back to what I need to do, and if I have to forgo for now. My mindset is that I have to keep making money right now, every day. I have to make money every day. If I don't make money every day, I feel like I'm not doing what I need to do. But the reality is, when I'm in that mindset, I am in that mindset, it causes that sawtooth effect to occur. Because what I want to do is, one day I could be in a losing streak and I keep trading. It's because my mind has toggled and I am unable to adjust to the market conditions, such as Friday in the Nasdaq. Because of the AI effect, it caused so many stocks to just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And shorting on that day, like I did, will cause a devastation in my account. That in itself creates something that I need to do right now, which is this. Had I gone long, I would have passed my FTMO challenges. So there's a couple of things that I need to do, which is one of the things that I need to do is to really enforce the stop loss, and think of this as a long-term thing, not a today thing. I don't have to make money every day. I have to remember that. I have to remember that I do not have to make money today. I don't have to make money today. I have to remember that. I have to I have to be in constant vigilance, knowing that I do not have to make money today. That is not the objective. The objective is to trade well. Trade well. So the PNL, that's what it means, PNL. PNL means that people who go for the PNL are constantly looking to win every day. And that causes, when there's a slight loss, there's a revenge trading that occurs because it impacts psychologically. These professionals admit to the fact that too. They are prone to revenge trading. And for a novice trader who is impacted in the same way, do not have the tools necessary to deal with this, the skills needed to deal with this revenge trading, which causes a severe drawdown. What happens is that when a stock is actually moving away and there's a significant loss, and adding it, thinking that it's going to return, that causes an immense amount of loss. And that is the edge, the cliff that occurs on that sawtooth. So what I need to do is minimize that. And how do I minimize that? That is the first fix that I need to do. If I was a coach who has gone through this whole process already and has become a consistently profitable day trader for the past, I would think, if I am a consistently profitable day trader, have been for the past 10 years, for a 10-year stretch, I could be considered a coach. Despite the fact that the securities and the target trading item is different, the overwhelming other things that are required in order to properly trade that instrument is essentially the same thing. And so how do I fix what I'm doing right now? So if I as a coach of me, specifically because for some reason I do not want to put in my because I do not want to allow someone to teach me because they're not doing it the way that I want to do it. That's why I don't have a coach. That's why. So I have to be a coach of myself. And being a coach of myself requires intense amount of upheaval, like one of those professional day traders talk about how they were losing and they studied and then they borrowed money and they lost everything and then they finally uh, spent they essentially spent every waking moment studying the charts, going to the charts. The chart, that's where it is. Charts. Everybody looks at the charts. That's where it is. I have to go look at the charts. Now, this fix must be done. If this fix does not, if this fix, I've been talking about this last year as well, and nothing has been done. This is the incredible part. This is one of the most incredible part that I've ever seen in my life. This is something, it's a change of behavior that will not change because I am the owner of that behavior. And there's no one on this earth aside from God. And God has free will. And that allows me to do certain things on a free will basis of giving all the money away. And so the only person who's looking out for me is me. And God will help in that if I choose to do that because He has free will. He is giving free will. So I choose as of today to create a risk management into my trading journey. This is where I have to insert it because I've seen enough. I've seen enough in the past 2 years. What do I see? It's a sawtooth. It's inevitable. It's a sawtooth. If I'm on a long streak of win, the sawtooth just gets bigger. Okay? That's what happens. And these professionals talk about this, the same thing. They say, like, even if I had $1 million or 10 million, I mentioned this too, and I've seen it already, but I was unable to fix it. So this is the fix that I need. Risk management is so important. If I had a win to loss ratio of 50%, if I were to create if I were to implement a risk management, I could still win. And then the strategy. So it's a three-pronged effect. It's a Triton. It's a Triton thing. Okay, so the Triton, I've mentioned this before, but it's just because when the market is cooperating, I'm just too lazy to do anything about it because it's working. It's working. Why do I want to change what's working? Why do I want to change this working? Because once in a while it doesn't work. That's why to implement that, to create an insurance, in my trading, I have to buy some insurance. Buying that insurance is expensive because it takes a lot of work. So you graduate. See, it's like it's like Richard Pryor's comedy routine. He's talking about this. Apparently he was a comedian in a nightclub, and there was a singer there too, and apparently it was owned by the mobs, and apparently the singer complained to Richard saying, "Hey, they're not gonna pay us," and Richard said, "Oh, they're gonna pay us," and so he walks in to the office and to the mob, and he says to the mob, "Hey, this is a stick up." And then the mob is very, very reasonable. Now the mob comes over, and he knows it's a comedic routine. And he puts his arms around Richard and looks at him and says, "Well, Richard, you know what happens when you don't have legs, do you?" You can't walk, right? It's reasonable. So the market is telling me this is what I need to do, and yet I will not do it. I cannot hear that. So I'm in the office. I'm in the office, and here's this fierce individual who they're not called mobs for any reason. They're they are what they are for a reason. Okay? So how do I discover this gravity? How do I discover this gravity in this situation so that this gravity pulls me down and allow this apple to strike me in the head, to to completely turn the switch so that so that so that it's like I suppose it's like doing something, and you're doing something, and on a repeated basis it's a very difficult life to live. It's like living in the street. I suppose it's like living in the street, and all I have to do is change one behavior that causes me to break away from that situation. It's just one situation. It's like, day trading is like, I'm beginning to believe like day trading is like being homelessness. It is. It's fascinating. It's like all you have to do is just change one behavior. One fundamental there's a lot of things that I need to do, but there's one fundamental behavior that allows me to escape homelessness. Okay, one of them is have a wage. So I have to fix this in terms of how to fix this homelessness. I have to fix. So I have to look at day trading in terms of the complexity of being homeless. So how do I fix that? So let's analyze. I have to compare it. So I fixed it. Okay, I fixed that for myself. So I fixed that. So what did I do? I got a job first, and then that immediately fixed the financial requirements to get in to pay for a room and this office. So, and then I bought a pair of new shoes from washing dishes. I didn't buy it from trading. Not yet. I will though in the future. So I have these brand new shoes. So the first thing is to have a wage. Second part is there is some sort of a habit that's causing me to not have a job. There's something that's causing me to not have a job. What is that? Maybe addiction. Maybe I'm just lazy. Or maybe there's mental disorder. Something like that that's causing it. And so I entered into a shelter that saved me from being homeless. And then I bought my time, and then I, through the grace of God, through my church, was able to find a room and moved into a room. So that's a fix. That is a permanent fix. That's a fix. Now, the next step is for me to increase my wage so that I can move into my own house. That's what I'm doing right now. And that's what I'm working on. But it seems to me the same day trading lifestyle that I'm chasing is similar to fixing myself as in homelessness. Okay? So those are the two things that are merged together, and if I can figure that out, then I will move into a proper direction. Now, fixing homelessness for me was simpler. It wasn't easy, but it was simpler. And I'm sure for individuals who are deeply entrenched in habits that undermine their health and their future, it is very difficult to escape from where they are living right now. So they need a coach. Okay. They need a coach. I need a coach. And what's stopping me from a coach? There's absolutely nothing stopping me from getting a coach. It's because I don't trust them. That's why. I don't trust these coaches. That's why. I have to do things on my own. That's why. Okay. One day I have to get a coach. When I have sufficient amount of capital, that's when things happen. But before then, it's difficult to afford a coach right now with dishwashing money. That's why I'm not buying lots of programs. I was able to barely afford joining one of the clubs, and then the other is to purchase Al Brooks' trading course. And I'm sure when the time is right, I will unlock his secrets. But right now, it is still, I have to keep watching and watching to learn what he's talking about. And once I figure that out, then things will transform. But in the meantime, I'm still trading. So I have to fix this and look at it from the perspective of a person who's homeless. Now, I had that analogy of figuring out what the most important thing is in being homeless. What is the most important fix? It is a consistent employment. Consistent, just one word fixes homelessness, which is employment. That's it. Even if you blow half of your whatever wage you have into your habits, you are still able to take that other half and get into a room and save yourself. And food, all you have to do is starve for like 3 or 4 days and go to a buffet and eat as much as you can, right? So you can save on things like that. You could use that. Now that's a fix. That's a consistently profitable day trader. When I look at, oh man, I just got goosebumps. I don't know if I can see you, me. I'm gonna watch this video someday. I don't know if you can see this goosebumps. I see goosebumps. That is a consistently profitable day trader. A person who has successfully, these people who are holding a wage, salary, who works on a day-to-day basis, going to work, are a consistently profitable day trader. They don't know that. They don't know that people who hold their job until retirement are consistently profitable day traders. They are. Now getting back to the life of a consistently profitable day trader. It is essentially a whole new discipline. Some people say it takes like 12 months. That's what they say. These professionals talk about many people that they train. It takes about 12 months to in active training, active training, and active learning from the counterpart allows them to become consistently profitable in 12 months. I believe it. I believe it. There are people who are now. I believe it. Now the other part is, now how do I get to that? And what's stopping me from moving into what's stopping me from snapping my finger and flipping a switch and going to the other side to never return again to this? So essentially, non-professional day traders are homeless people. They're essentially very similar to being homeless people. They're addicted. They're gamblers. They're gamblers because they're statistically they're taking what they have, and then they're standing around in the street corner asking for money, and then taking that money and dumping it into to the stock market. That's what they're doing, essentially. So, risk management is the most important thing, and I have to remember these rules. They say professional day traders talk about remembering the rules. These rules are looking at the charts, and the charts behave in a certain rules-based manner. It moves in a rules-based manner. There's such as support and resistance, and the trend. Okay, trend. So there's at least three things that are essentially a essential part of day trading, and support and resistance, and trend. Those are the essentially the rules that there are, and several things that occur which causes the market to fluctuate, which is essentially there are extraordinary impacts in the market, such as wars, such as these people who analysts comes out and says, "Hey, look, we're gonna short this guy. You should short it," and then overnight, or while I'm in the trade, it just drops. There's nothing I can do about it. So there could be a support, and then the analyst would come out with the news, which will cause the stock to just drop like that, even though it was on a trajectory in a manner that the market was supposed to go in a smooth transitional way. It takes a deep, devastating drop. It's correcting itself. It's the right thing to do. That's what happens. It's part of Wall Street. That's what it's supposed to do. So to mitigate that situation, there are a couple things that needs to happen, which is to reduce my risk at all times and be mindful of that constantly. So in day trading, what is the single most important thing? What is it? What is the most important thing that I can work off of so that I can say, aha? What is the fix? What is the fix? If I can figure that out, if I have that single most important thing, the most important thing about day trading, what is it? I had a conversation with, I must have paid like $250, I think, to talk with a professional day trader. And I attempted to ask him the question, but he just stuck with his story. It felt like I was talking to a recording. So what is the most important thing about day trading that I can work off of? What is that? What is the most important thing that I can relate to, that allows me to fully grasp the significance of day trading, that will allow me to transform myself into a consistently profitable day trader, as I have sustained myself for the past 1 year, almost a year now. For the past almost 1 year, so that was like November so we're talking about right now, it's about 8 months. I have escaped the shelter, and I have, despite the fact that I have to tell me that washing dishes is not easy. And doing the dinner side, an old man with rusty legs, is not easy either. But I do it. I do it anyway. Because it is so important to me that I have to remain employed. It is so important. And I'm willing to run around and do these things in order to move into a totally different world. And I heard from based on a lot of these professional day traders, they went through a lot in order to get there. So there's no free lunch in this case. So I understand it. So now let's figure this out. So first thing is my mind. The amount of pain and suffering has not caused me to change my behavior. That behavior is owned by me. There's no one else. Not even my friends, not even God. God will support in the free will of my own doing. And that's why he allows me to move in the direction that I want. And if I choose to stay a non-professional, God is fully okay with that because he loves all. Okay, that's the fact. But if I ask God to help me become a consistently profitable day trader, he's going to help. So now I know that he's helping. Now, what is the most important thing? I need to understand, in order for me to break free from this, I have to understand what is the most important thing. I did it without understanding what the most important thing is as a homeless person. But now, how do I fix it? I'm asking for that right now because I haven't been there. It's difficult to work on something without knowing what I need to prepare myself in order to be that consistent profitable day trader. So how do I get there? How do I how do I make this change? So one of the things that I've noticed, okay, so I have to fix that sawtooth right now. Based on what I have right now, everything that I have the tools, I have the funds, if I figure this out, there's plethora of companies who's willing to throw money in my direction. I know it. I know it. When I fix this, there's an unlimited amount of money that is willing to give me, that are willing to park their money with me in order to allow me to make the trade. There is an unlimited supply of funds right now. It's right there. So if I can fix this one part, that is the situation right now. So how do I fix that? So fixing that requires a risk management. It never occurred to me how important risk management is until, as these professionals talk about it, until I have gone through the rigors of the market, and essentially, it's like the digestive tract. It's like the digestive tract, and I am the food, and the food first of all has to be fresh, and then anyway, I believe I know where this is ending up. It has to be bombarded. It has to be shaken. It has to be torn apart and disintegrated and transformed into something brand new, a fertilizer. So now that seems the reason. So on the other end, it's called risk management. Risk management is fundamentally the most important thing, it seems to me. Risk. Have I made a video on that? It's called Risk. There's a board game called Risk. See, I made a video of this a long time ago, but I didn't understand it. So how do I get there? How do I get there? Okay. See, look at that. I passed the FTMO challenge. I passed the FTMO verification. So it's called the risk management. So I have to understand risk management. The thing is, that's what's been missing in my life. Risk management has been missing in my life. It has. I'm just reflecting on it now. I'm reflecting on the way that I lived my life. See, this should have been natural. So most likely, a marathon runner will most likely not do mountain climbing, because chances of the person uh, chances of the uh, person like scraping or something could cause the individual to be to cause the individual to essentially not be able to run a marathon. That's one. The other is the other is if the marathon runner decides to drink alcohol for some reason, that is a risk. That's a risk management that needs to be adhered to. There has to be a certain type of precautionary things that are done in order to maintain a peak performance. It is these things that occurs, and therefore, if I had, if I had, okay, there are a few things that are. It's good that I met my ex-wife. That I have two kids. That is something. Whatever happens in this life, me not having risk management is perfectly okay for that particular reason. However, in certain situations, I need to place certain. That's probably why she divorced me. So I need to place risk management in order to in my life. I have to create a risk management in my life because when I was young, I was able to do things without a concern whatsoever. So, so now, how do I do this? Risk management is it. So if I were to, uh, if I were to equate saving myself from unemployment into employment, then the single word is called employment, is removing myself from homelessness. What is the single word that truly define a fix for the fix for day trading? What is that? What is that now? What is how do I become considered profitable? It is, and these professionals talk about how do I keep my money. That's what they say. They talk about that. Losers lose money. They lose money. That's it. So how do I keep the money that I have? How do I how do I how do I keep the money? That's the important thing. So when I make a trade, how do I keep it? How do I ensure that I keep it? So in order to keep it, I have to minimize the losses. I have to minimize the losses so that there will be a time when the market is agreeable. So I have to wait for the market to be agreeable to me. I can't be agreeable to the market all the time. It's impossible. It's impossible. However, if I were to wait until the market is agreeable, then I get to keep it. So this is okay. If I were to it seems to me if I were to, these professionals, I don't think they understand either. They know how to do things, but they've never thought about forming into a single word that defines what day trading is and how to become consistently profitable and what is the most important thing. Some people know, they say like, oh, it's stop loss. They say stop loss. Stop loss is a section of is a section of the global definition of risk management. See, I'm actually very good at risk management in certain things, but I was never. But on other things that involves emotion and things like that, that causes a devastating consequence. One of them is like loss of a job. That is loss of a job, my man. That essentially just removes everything from your life. The second part is like getting divorced. What could I have done? I could have done this when my ex-wife bought this book called Baby Book. Nurturing Baby book by what's his name. I should have like read the book and then talked to her about it to show interest and to grow together. That would have shown my sincere interest in raising our kids together. I could not see that because I was I was like, oh. It reminds me of a pastor that I spent several years together. We walked together, and he sat in front of me, and I sat on the other side, and he told me this: "You're all like encased. Encased. You're encased. You cannot break. You're not breaking away from opening up yourself to the world to understand the world." And I asked him, "So how much progress that I've made?" And he said, "Well, you have a sliver of opening." Now I see what that means. Now I see why he's saying that. So, I'm thinking to myself as a professional. I am a professional day trader. I have many years of experience. I am I have to be very honest right now. I have a sawtooth P&L right now, which essentially means that I'm not profitable. But I devote all my time. The central theme of my life right now is day trading. So I am a unprofitable professional day trader right now. That is my profession. That's what I do. Now, how do I turn the tide? How do I turn the tide so that I become profitable? So how do I become profitable? And I've done YouTube video researches for quite a while. And one central theme is I have to make sure I practice risk management. That is fundamentally the most important part about day trading right now in my life. That is the most important thing. And that could also help other individuals who essentially are gambling. Okay? It's not gambling when there are certain rules that elevates the statistical probability of making money. And most people, 95% of people, that is why they are 95% of the people. They are me. They are me. Some of them are semi-professionals. Some are professionals. There are professional golfers who don't make any money at all. Okay? They just get cut the first day. Because it's a incredibly competitive sport. So is day trading. So now I have to figure out how do I make this work? It's called risk management. First, I have to stem the tide of that sawtooth, and then I have to complement it with better entries. And then I have to so that's the first part. So if I were to think about this, further and really get into this, I have to really get into it. That's the only way. I have to have a complete focus on this particular topic. So how do I get there? So now how do I get there? How do I get there? The way that I get there is by, so let's like concretely just place it in my mind so that I never forget it. So it's risk management. And risk management it essentially has a stop loss. Now the stop loss is going to cause more losses. The frequency of losses will be there, but the magnitude will be reduced. That's for sure. The second, which is related to max day loss. That's imperative. That for that one day, it's going to just essentially just erase it from my mind and my life if I were to place a maximum loss per day. I have to accept the fact that there is a percentage loss that I'm going to lose. It's going to lose. I know that I'm going to lose. When I think in terms of that I'm going to win, then I'm going to lose. I know it because I'll say, hey, today's the day that I'm going to make money, and it's going to essentially it's going to uh, so whatever amount that I trade, it's going to win, and I put an enormous amount of trade into it, a significant percentage, and that percentage will be gone because the market will just turn and essentially just take that small smidgen of win into a heavy loss. So I have to keep that in mind. I have to focus what that is. What the risk management. Risk management means that stop loss. Stop loss. That's stop loss. And stop loss means that on a day when I'm losing, I have to say, okay, I'm willing to lose this much per day. I'm willing to lose this much per trade. So these are the things that I need to set first. Then I can move into how do I make more money. That's the next step. I have to work on these things one at a time. The first thing is I have to say to my, I have to I have to set. So in in the FTMO there is a max daily loss and max loss. Those are the two things that I need to be aware of. I have to adhere to that, otherwise my account is blown. So that is really essentially the same as my personal account as well. That's why I've been losing for the past, what is that now? 22 years, 23 years. Okay. Even when I was an engineer, I was putting money in the market and the market would turn and essentially just take everything away, right? I remember my ex-wife saying this. She said, "Oh, take it out. Take the money out." I wish I'd have taken it out, but it's difficult. It's difficult to because it's this mind, this oh, it's gonna get bigger. But what is bigger? What is how big is it? What are you trying to do with $1,000 or $2,000? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna wait until it's a million? It's not gonna happen. Okay? It's the statistical probability of turning that into a million is slim. Unless it takes a long period of time and you're in the right instrument. Like Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was $1, right? So now let's round this out. Let's focus. Let's get this thing taken care of. Okay? So it seems to me that it may have finally struck an accord. It finally struck a chord, it seems to me, with me, of how important risk management is. And I belong to a UK spread betting. They're talking about risk management. Every time he concludes his segment, he says risk management. He talks about how it's risk management. That's what he says. Now I'm beginning to see that. Okay? I'm beginning to see it. It just never occurred to me. The money would just escape from my account. But it just never occurred to me. That's what it is. Yeah. It just happens. It's like I was blind to that fact. It's being blindsided. It's like being hit on the head by an apple. That's what it is. Newton. So the single most important word in day trading is called risk management. Okay, that's what it is. There could be a black swan one day, and I'm long, heavy. Okay, and that could, unless I have a stop loss, and these stocks are these Nasdaq stocks are $150 each times 100 shares. That's about $15,000. And if for some reason that were to retrace like 50% on that special day, it could cause all FTMO accounts to just trigger a loss. Okay, all FTMO accounts. especially if it's right in the middle of the day. If something like that occurs in the right in the middle of the day, the possibilities, I have to expand on this. It's something that I had never explored. I was thinking, okay, so how to make money? How do I make money? I'm exploring how to make money, and I'm trying to figure this out before creating a safety net. So I talked about this like I talked about this like um, on numerous occasions. Day trading is like walking on a tightrope across two peaks of Mount Everest. And then I have a pole that I'm holding, and there's no safety net. The safety net is risk management. If the risk, if the net is close to where the rope is, then I can climb back up and keep going. But if it's too far, climbing back up is incredibly difficult. So I have to make it reachable and be able to continue on this journey. So I need to really write a book on risk management. I have to write a book. Maybe somebody already wrote a book on risk management. Maybe somebody already wrote a book on risk management. Let's see. Let's see if somebody wrote a book on risk management. Oh, look at that. There's quite a few books. But there is no risk management for day trading. See, there's nobody wrote a book on risk management. See, these risk management are day trading. Okay, let's risk management in day trading. Oh, oh, there's some books out there. Wieland Arlt. There's only one book out there on risk management. Look at that. Look at that. There's only one book. Let's see, how many pages is that? It's 184 pages. Oh, wow. Ah. Okay, so I have to get this book for day and swing trading. Risk management. Complete guide on how to maximize your profits and minimize your risk in forex, futures, and stock trading. Huh. Do I want to read it in book form or do I want to read it now? It's imperative. It says here he's the most respected person. Make your trading success predictable. Professional risk and money management is indispensable for every trader in order to improve trading results permanently and sustainably. In the heat of the moment, this is often neglected. Outlines simple methods that can be implemented in practice with a little effort to improve your day and swing trading. He explains different concepts for various trading styles so that short and medium term oriented traders are individually accompanied from the planning. Okay. It's predictable. Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Huh. Oh, oh, wow. There's books. Add to cart. Oh, some of these are like 84 pages. Okay, I added 4 books. And I'm going to now, uh, so essentially the most important part, okay, the most important word in day trading is risk management. There's 2 words: risk management. If I were to, at this moment, the corner, I was looking for the corner in day trading. Because if I don't fix this, even if I'm massively successful, uh, even if I'm massively successful, there's got to be a balance. It's possible if okay, it's like football. It seems to me, if I have a incredibly good offense, I suppose I can win. But if the defense is equally not good, then the competitor is going to catch up to the same points anyway. If their offense is not good, then chances are uh, offense will win. However, defense is also going to support it as well. If I were to have an impeccable offense, but a single slip up on my offense on the losing day could cause everything that I made to be erased. So what do I need to do in order to create my team? In order to generate my team, I have to work on both things. The offense and the defense needs to occur. Offense and defense has to work simultaneously in order to, let's put it this way. If I don't have any defense in football, they're just going to march down there as fast as possible. Okay? But the other team has the defense, which will attempt to reduce the amount of offensive goaling. So, the most important thing, that I need to, I'm gonna bury this video in a title called football. Instead of calling it risk management, it's football. It's football. This is football. That's as American it can get. Football and baseball. Yeah, it's football and baseball. Yeah. You can have the best pitcher in the world. And that best pitcher could do this for about a week and shut out. And one day he could just give out a grand slam. So, what I need to do is now study risk management. That's the missing game in my trading arsenal. because I was so focused on how do I make money? How do I make money? How do I make money? But the reality is even the best loses on certain days. So I have to because that's the only way to stop this sawtooth action. That's it. Risk management.